everyone once again to this week's edition of GPL 357, where we are a few degrees short of a full circle. As always, on my left we have a wonderful panellist, the regular, the man behind the bar, Scotty. How are you, Scotty?
G'day, Tone.
And we've broken the budget again to get the corruptible celebrity back after his magnificent performance on the weekend, and also on the show last time, Darren Carroll. Hello, Darren. Welcome back. It is good to have you back. We'll, as always, do some reviews. We'll go and search for some lost degrees. We're also going to have a look at the teams that are just outside the 8. There's 5 rounds to go, so we want to see what they have in front of them and whether they can turn that into the momentum swing to get them into the finals for this year. We've got some 100-game players, and we'll talk about the tips. So, Scotty, why don't you start with your first review?
Well, I've got the top of the table Wally's World playing the F Troop. Very confident late in the day, but hipped on the post in the end by a great score from Ben Easton to give the Wally's World a 1 point lead, 1 point win. They've done it a fair bit this year, Wally's World, but F Troop again, look, they can say they're unlucky, but 170 is not a score that's going to get you consistent wins. So, devastating 1 point loss, could have been in the 4, but that's the game of GPL.
I've got a review. The battle of the pinker was the Suros versus Vultures, and unfortunately the Vultures ended up, I think, wearing red. They did go out with the away strip, the grey, and it certainly didn't help. Their 160 was no match for the Suros, who were magnificent at 179, and it does leave the Vultures with a lot to do if they want to make the finals. Who have you got there, DC?
Well, I've actually got corruptibles and tried, so I'm not really sure how that panned out that I got this game, but
very interested to see what you've got to talk about.
Well, as I seem to recall the other day, Damien Hardwick mentioning that the first win was the hardest, and once you get that first win, you could go on a bit of a roll. So I think the corruptibles, if we don't make the 8, will certainly shape it by the end of the season.
Well, that could be the truth. What we do is we head out on the course and take the camera around, and we're searching for a few lost degrees, and it's amazing what you find. So if you have Mark Wallace of the Walnuts taking the low route, but on the green, mate. How's it travelling?
No, not too well at the moment. Tone a few down, a few holes to try and catch up. If I can stick this one, it'll be a 4-pointer, so hopefully that'll
be magnificent.
Score, that'll be fantastic.
Phoenix haven't been that good this year, but they've hit a bit of form, and it looks like they've got another one. You guys have all to do.
No, we'll be okay. We've got enough numbers out here today. Unlike previous years, we've got some numbers on the course this year, Tone.
Good to see you, mate. Robbie Sparvelis of F Troop. The man, you jumped from the Wood Ducks to F Troop, and both teams are going better. Can you work that one out?
Well, I don't know what's going on, but all I know is that at the moment I'm not doing that well. So
F Troop
went the big night last night.
F Troop respond to big nights on Friday.
Yeah, well, you never know. It's not over till the old, the fat lady starts singing, as they say.
No worries, she's warming up, mate. So keep going. A lot of red, and here's an all the trove
That's
bugler in
it,
red. How you going, Rollick? Playing
Really
all right?
good, going good, mate.
The buglers are reeling after last week's defeat.
Yeah, I think they'll be
How are we
reeling
travelling?
tonight. No,
Reeling after today as well. Hopefully the chemists don't turn up.
Well, I think they're out here. We need something.
Not looking good.
Not looking good, all right. The worm maybe is turning. Come back. So, Darren, you've got the buglers review. How did the worm turn in the end?
Well, they certainly didn't look very confident there, but at the end of the day, they got up with a paltry score of 164, but the chemists just let a massive opportunity slip and only scored 158, and that may come back to haunt the chemists by the end of the season.
Yeah, I think it will. I've got the Wanderers played the Gummers, the battle of the family, and the Wanderers up in the top 4. Someone unfortunately had to be the Gummers' first win, and the Gummers did get it done, 174 to 169. I don't think they'll have enough momentum to make the finals, so their eye will be on the knockout. But the Wanderers stayed in the top 4. They've been playing very well this season. I expect them to continue to push on. How about you?
Well, Wanderers did stay in the top 4 due to a 1 point loss. The Wood Ducks had to a surprising loss to the Phoenix. Wood Ducks keep slipping up when they don't really need to at times this year. So, but excellent win by the Phoenix, who will now won 2 in a row.
And yes, Scotty, and 2 more reviews to go. How about you, Darren?
Back 9 Mafia and the Ferrets. This was a good win from the Back 9 Mafia. It's a potential banana skin game, as they call it. The Ferrets are can come out on a day and knock you over, and the back nine Mafia just keep on popping those wins in the bank and maybe doing just enough to get them into the finals.
They're doing well. And your final review, Scotty?
I had the old-fashioned 8-point game, very critical. It's hard to believe the Tunners are down in 8th spot. They're normally riding high, top 4. They have had struggle getting players on the field this year, but they had a critical win on the weekend, winning by 9 points, beating the Wolfpack, who continued to disappoint, but with Petito we might see a lift in their performance, and the Tunners here, they keep losing players, but I think history shows they'll probably do all right next month and make the finals.
So what we thought we'd have a quick look at today is we've got the teams that are just outside of the 8. They all will have glory in their minds, I've no doubt. They'll be looking for a little bit of momentum with 5 rounds to go to see if they can do what's required to get themselves into that. The Surats are at 9th, the Phoenix on 10, Wolfpack, Vultures, and then the Chemists. They're the ones really in the mix that I can see. Darren, unless you've got anyone else you think might be able to force some way up?
No, we'd like to think the Corruptibles are a chance, but we are a little bit off the pace at the moment. Look, it's from 5th down to 13th, as you say. I think all it takes is 2 or 3 wins in a row, 2 or 3 losses in a row, and a team could go very quickly up or very quickly down. A couple of teams in the 8 that I see as vulnerable, the Tunners missing a few players, back 9 Mafia and Rarefied Air. Wood Ducks again haven't probably played finals for a little while, but the teams outside the 8 are almost in the same boat. You know, the Surats, Phoenix, Wolfpack, they don't really have a history of greatness, do they, in the competition?
Yeah, they certainly do not.
It's someone's going to have to put their hand up for their team and go out and just get on a rich run of form, and it could sort of make them a champion of the team's cause.
Well, what do you reckon, Scotty?
Yeah, it's hard to believe that the Surats and Phoenix are 9th and 10th. The Surats had an amazing win about 4 weeks ago, played terrible for a couple of weeks, and then had a shock win against the Vultures, who continue to just be inconsistent, the Vultures. Phoenix, I don't think they're good enough to make it. I'm not going to be proper with the Phoenix. Probably out of that team is probably Wolfpack if the Pennant boys can fire in the last month and a bit, because I just think all the teams, there's a reason why they're outside the 8. They're just too inconsistent.
Yeah, I think the Phoenix and the Surats might have a chat to you. I do note that the Tunners and the back 9 Mafia sitting in 7 and 8 do play most of these teams on the run home, so they still do have their season in their own hands. If they can beat them, they'll be actually beating back the challenges that are in front of them, which is a good place to be in.
Yeah, it's what you want. I mean, you'd like to have the people around you, you'd like to play them and knock them over and then deserve your spot in the final. And based on the way the draw looks, I think whoever makes the final at the end will be worthy participants.
Yeah, Chemists, that loss will hurt them. They've got the easiest run home, but they've got the most to do, really. So it'll be interesting to see if they get almost there. We might also talk about the Survivor guys, this magnificent cup, something Darren, before you joined the Corruptibles, they took ownership of for 2 seasons and dropped it after 1 week this year. This is really interesting. We've got 6 teams left. The Mafia is still in it, F Troop, Surats, Tridents, Volleyball and the Wood Ducks. And of all these teams, the Surats is the one that have a bare cabinet. I think this is going to mean a lot to the Surats in the run home.
Yeah, I guess the problem with the Surats is they have had a couple of really low scores throughout the year, and they've been lucky enough that another team's gone lower on the day. I think with a Survivor you're looking for consistency, so your Tridents and your Wally World will be possibly the teams to beat, but as it just takes one bad day, it is up in the air, but I would, unlike Scotty, I'm going to tip Wally World on this one.
What do you, Scotty?
Well, I'm actually in the same boat. Actually, Wallyville and the Tridents. I think, I think these two will probably end up playing off in the grand final of the Survivor. Just interesting looking at the teams. I think the top 3 are scores for Wood Ducks, Wallyville and Tridents. But I think Tridents and Wally's World are probably the most 2 consistent team, and I think it's out of those 2.
They are. I'll just throw the Wood Ducks into this, just simply because Pennant's over. There's a few Pennant players in their team, and I think now they can refresh their minds just to what's going on Saturdays and they should improve their consistency, you would think, over the coming weeks. We do have some 100-game players, 3 of them in fact. The first one, Paul Sarong of the Phoenix. He was in the original 2008 Cambridge knockout, it was back then, and also was the 2014 Jim Foley medalist. Well done, Paul, in your 100 games. Murray Jowers, who was brought in the inaugural 2009 draft to the Vultures, and he's been a captain for 8 years. They obviously went for leadership. Hasn't quite worked yet, Murray. The cabinet is still there, but I'm sure it is coming. You do inspire your men. And the last is Nick Carrington, who doesn't know where to hang all these medals. Not only is he a premiership player from last year, the mighty Tridents, he was in the knockout winning sides of 2011 and 2015, and also being the only team to win all 3 trophies, the 2013 team survivor, is also on his mantelpiece. So well done, guys, on your 100 games. Okay, so guys, all we've got now left to do is the tips, so we'll rip through round 11 as we get to the business end of the season, the last 5 games. First of all, this is a blockbuster, the Tridents versus the Buglers, 2 versus 3. Whoever wins this, I think, are guaranteed top 4, and I'm actually going to look at the Tridents continuing their consistency and maybe getting the Buglers just slightly in a cracker.
Yeah, Buglers have been a little bit off, haven't they, the last couple of weeks, but it's a star-studded lineup for the Buglers against the consistency of the Tridents. Again, I like the Tridents in this one. I think they've got a few players just about to peak in form, and I think they can put a big score on the board this week.
Scotty?
Yeah, look, I like the Buglers, like what they bring. They'll be fantastic in the finals, but Tridents too consistent for me. So yeah, Tridents for me. I'm not going to be popular with the Buglers, but
no, neither will we. Corruptible's your team, Darren, against the Wood Ducks. You're riding momentum.
We are, yes.
I'm going to tip you to cause an upset purely and utterly because this is your final hurrah.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
We can't afford to lose a game, and look, you're right. Look, the Wood Ducks on their day are a great side. They have been relying a lot on 1 or 2 players, so I think if those guys tend to struggle, we are in with a big, massive chance. Concerned that as you say, the Pennant players are back focusing on their Saturday rounds, but hopefully with the 21st birthday celebrations from one of their players this week, they might take their eye off the prize a little bit, and the Corruptibles can sneak another winner.
Scotty?
well, as long as the party's not on Friday night, the Wood Ducks should win this game and should win it easily. I think the season they're having compared to the season the Corruptibles have had, it's poles apart. So I've got to go Wood Ducks.
Chemist versus F Troop. Chemists need to win this. They really, really do. So I'm going to tip them to get up because they need to.
Yeah, and I mean, F Troop certainly have looked a bit like they're teetering on the precipice of falling out of the 8 for the past couple of weeks, and they do need this win, but I know the Chemists, you just don't know what they're going to bring on the day. I think I'm going to tip them. I think that Vinny Sofo, he's built this team and he wants it to succeed, and he's going to have to lead from the front on Saturday afternoon.
Not for trouble. I'm not sure Vinny can build that high. Vinny, you can only go to a certain level,
Yeah,
mate.
look, I mean, last week they missed a couple of crucial players. David Madigan, Eric Lena weren't there, and that might have been the difference. If those guys turn up on Saturday, I think the Chemists will get it done.
Yes, I've got stuck in this team a fair bit all season, F Troop. They keep proving me wrong. And they're going to be upset with me again. I'm going to pick with all my Chemists.
There we go. Phoenix versus the Vultures. The Phoenix on the momentum run. I expect them to get over the Vultures, which is amazing.
Battle between husband and wife here. The captain of the Phoenix versus the husband playing for the Vultures, Matty Pearson. So obviously this game will be talked about a lot over the dinner table on Friday evening. Phoenix have snuck their way into contention, haven't they? They were a rabble a few weeks ago, but now all of a sudden a couple of wins and they're talking about finals. I think the loser of this one might go out of the running, so it's make or break. You've got to get it done on Saturday, so I don't know who to pick, so I'll go a draw.
Scotty?
Look, the Vultures just continue to disappoint. They should have won last week in the Battle of the Pink, but they're just not. They just seem to be very inconsistent. Look, I'm going to give them one more chance. If they lose, they're finished for 2016. a win will get them right back in the mix. So I'm going Vultures.
Wallyworld versus the Wanderers. Wallyworld right on top of the ladder, playing the Wanderers, who need a win, I'd say, to give themselves every chance to make the four. They slipped up against the Gummers. I reckon the Wanderers have it in them to knock the top team off and stay marching in the top four.
Yeah, looking at the ladder, I mean, the Wanderers are fourth, but they've got three teams only half a game behind them, so a loss here could really see them drop down a couple of spots. I don't know, I mean, they've been solid all season, but when you're thinking solid, I think Wallyworld's just that little bit more consistent, so I'm going to tip them to win again.
I might go upset here. I might go Wanderers because they're due for their big week, which normally gets the job done.
They do have big scores when they go off. Surats versus the Tunners. Once again, this is right, 8 versus 9. This is when it really starts to count. I would say the Surats, it just depends if they turn up. If the Surats turn up, they'll win. If not, the Tunners will get this done.
Well, it's a guaranteed spot in the 8 for the team that wins. Surat's half a game behind the Tunners, so they'll certainly go in, and if results fall the Tunners' way with a victory here and a couple other games, they might be 6 points in the 8. So it's looming up to round 11 is probably the most crucial round on the calendar this year.
Yeah, it's some big games.
Season campaign of the Tunners, got to stick with them.
Gummers versus the Ferrets. The Gummers, geez, I tell you, it's 14 versus 16, which is a bit different to the other high-flying blockbusters. I think the Gummers might get over the top. Generally, when they play well, they get on a bit of a roll, so I'd expect them to continue on.
I think I like the Ferrets in this one. I know the Gummers got up last week, but they haven't really looked like doing a whole lot all season. Ferrets too strong for mine.
It's hard to believe you could say that, but anyway.
Gummers.
And finally, the Wolfpack versus the Back Nine Mafia. Once again, this is really critical. The Wolfpack need to win this if they're going to make the 8, I would say. So I would expect the Wolfpack, once again with Pennifire's back, might just have enough consistency to get over the Back Nine Mafia in what I think will be a classic match this weekend.
I think Back Nine Mafia ends Wolfpack seasons this week.
I'm with you, Darren. The old 8-point game will favour the Back Nine Mafia.
So there we go. Thank you very much, everyone. Darren and Scotty for coming in and sharing your thoughts. Don't forget, everyone, if you want to win this thing, you need to turn up and play well. It's going to be an interesting week coming up. So play well, and we'll see you on the 5th.